Welcome to Movies in the Making. In today's episode, we are going to be looking at the 2011 superhero action film Captain America, The First Avenger, originally released by Paramount Pictures and directed by Joe Johnston. Here, we will dive deep into the story of the production of this film. As I said in my previous Iron Man video, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or MCU, has been around for over 15 years, and one of the source material's most important characters is Steve Rogers, otherwise known as Captain America. Considering how last time we have discussed how Iron Man's film adaptation had so much going during production, now we shall talk about what filming Captain America's first MCU adaptation was like. So, sit back and enjoy the show. You are all in for a war-bound ride. The idea to adapt the Marvel Comics character Captain America into the film Captain America: The First Avenger came from the vision of director Joe Johnston, known for films like Jumanji, TriStar Pictures 1995, and October Sky, Universal Pictures 1999. The screenplay was written by Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, who went on to write several other MCU films featuring other characters from the comics. This film, which debuted on the 22nd of July 2011, is considered the fifth entry in the MCU and introduced key characters such as Chris Evans as Steve Rogers, Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes, and Hayley Atwell as Peggy Carter. It set the stage for future MCU storylines, exploring Captain America's origin, his moral convictions, and his friendship with Bucky. The film's 1940s setting and themes of strength, compassion, and defiance against authority helped distinguish it within the MCU and laid the groundwork for important later events in the franchise. It continues to stand out for its character development and pivotal role in shaping the MCU's broader narrative. Stephen McFeely and Christopher Marcus became involved with Captain America: The First Avenger in 2008 after learning that Marvel was planning a period superhero film. Both screenwriters were immediately drawn to the idea, especially the challenge of setting the story in the 1940s, which they felt solved many storytelling problems. They appreciated how the historical context would allow for a straightforward, world-dominating villain and an authentic, non-cynical hero in contrast to the darker, more complex superhero films of the time. They also saw the 1940s setting as a perfect backdrop for a character like Captain America, whose origins in the Second World War would resonate more strongly in that period. Their enthusiasm for the project, combined with their experience in writing well-constructed, character-driven narratives, led to their involvement in crafting the film's script. Joe Johnston became the director for the film after completing The Wolfman, Universal Pictures 2010, a project he took in on a rush after a 4-year break. His agent contacted him with the opportunity from Marvel, and despite just starting The Wolfman, Johnston agreed to meet with them. He was familiar with the Captain America comics, but not an avid fan, which he felt allowed him to approach the film with more objectivity. After committing to the project, he thoroughly researched the character's history and various iterations. Johnston's background in designing iconic characters like Yoda and Boba Fett also influenced his involvement in shaping the look of the film, including the costumes and vehicles. The collaborative nature of working with Marvel, where they supported his vision while keeping the core of the character intact, made it a great experience for Johnston. Chris Evans initially hesitated to join the MCU as Captain America due to concerns about the long-term commitment to such a massive franchise. Although casting director Sarah Halley Finn had Chris Evans in mind for the role, citing his blend of charm, humor, relatability, and vulnerability, Evans was unsure about becoming a part of a multi-film saga. He appreciated his privacy and the freedom of working on individual films, which would allow him to take breaks. However, Robert Downey Jr., who had already established himself as Iron Man, persuaded Evans to take the role, reassuring him that it would offer opportunities without limiting his career. To ease his concerns, Marvel Studios even offered Evans a contract for 6 months over a decade, including both solo films and Avengers appearances, which ultimately convinced him to accept the role. Sebastian Stan's career took off when he was cast as Bucky Barnes in Captain America: The First Avenger, a role that brought him worldwide recognition. However, before landing the role of Bucky, Stan became very close to being cast as James T. Kirk in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek, Paramount Pictures 2009, based on a 1960s TV series created by Gene Roddenberry for NBC. He had a screen test with Abrams and even did a photo shoot, replicating William Shatner's iconic Kirk look to demonstrate his resemblance. But ultimately, the role went to Chris Pine. Despite this near miss, Stan had no regrets, acknowledging Pine's successful portrayal of the character in that film. Stan since speculated that had he taken on the Star Trek role, he might not have had the time to fully develop his portrayal of Bucky Barnes, a role that has grown increasingly significant in the MCU. Haley Atwell was cast as Peggy Carter in the film after its screenwriters Marcus and McFeely decided to make the character British, as opposed to the American version in the comics. They were looking for someone who could project authority and intelligence, and Atwell's audition impressed them with her ability to command the screen. She brought professionalism and preparation to the role, quickly earning a reputation for being the most prepared actor on set, which made a significant impact on the crew. Atwell, known for her work in period dramas, was drawn to Captain America partly to step out of her serious, dramatic roles and challenge herself with a more adventurous character. Her portrayal of Peggy, a capable and authoritative figure in a male-dominated world, became iconic, leading to her starring in the Agent Carter TV show and further solidifying her place in the MCU. Behind the scenes of Captain America, the First Avenger, the villainous Red Skull underwent significant changes in his origin story. Early concept art by Marvel's head of visual development, Ryan Meinerding, depicted Johann Schmidt being transformed into Red Skull by the Terrasac's light, gradually affecting his skin and skull. This transformation was eventually abandoned in favor for the more familiar storyline where Schmidt uses the super soldier serum on himself, gaining superhuman abilities but becoming horribly deformed, which leads to his new identity as Red Skull. Although the Tesseract transformation concept was scrapped, the character's comic book origins were also altered, with Schmidt's association with Hydra remaining central to his role. Despite this, Red Skull's legacy and the Tesseract's influence extended far beyond the first film, becoming key elements in the broader MCU, particularly in the Infinity Saga. Hugo Weaving was cast as the Red Skull in the film after being approached for the role of the iconic villain. Although initially hesitant about the project, Weaving agreed to take on the part, later reflecting on his experience more positively. He enjoyed the challenge of working behind a mask and relished the opportunity to portray the character with a German accent, despite the discomfort of wearing the costume. While Weaving had expressed reluctance to return for any sequels, citing his lack of desire to revisit the role, he acknowledged that his time as the Red Skull was enjoyable, particularly due to the unique performance opportunities provided by the mask and costume. The makeup for Red Skull in the film was designed using a prosthetic made up of 7 pieces to streamline the application process and allow for better movement. The prosthetics were crafted with thin silicone, making them easier to apply and maintain over long hours, often looking as good after 12 hours as they did when they were first applied. The team took great care in ensuring Weaving's skin was well maintained after each shooting day. The prosthetic design also benefited from advancements in creative makeup, allowing for a more customized fit based on Weaving's cast while still ensuring a strong starting point for future adjustments. Anna B. Shepard, a renowned costume designer with experience working on films for directors like Steven Spielberg and Quentin Tarantino, was brought in to design the costumes for the film after Jeffrey Kurland was let go during prep. Shepard, who had extensive experience with period costumes, embraced the challenge of staying true to the 1940s era while adapting the designs to fit a superhero film. She faced the difficulty of bringing 70-year-old designs to life while ensuring practically for action scenes. She worked closely with Chris Evans, adjusting the Captain America costume to fit his beefed-up physique, and designed other iconic looks, including Peggy Carter's stunning red dress and Howard Stark's dapper wardrobe. For Red Skull, Shepard designed a strong leather coat inspired by German officer uniforms, which was necessary for the character's imposing appearance. She also created hundreds of Hydra soldier uniforms, accounting for variations in their roles and the challenges posed by 3D filming. Cinematography of Captain America, the First Avenger, was led by Shelley Johnson, ASC, who worked closely with director Joe Johnston to create a visually immersive experience. The film's large-scale action sequences, set across various locations, required a flexible approach to filmmaking. Johnston utilized the flexibility of digital technology, allowing for seamless adjustments to scenes while filming. The crew employed techniques like technocrane, which was often used as a moving platform to capture the dynamic shots without cutting. The film's visual style was also influenced by the period setting, with lighting choices playing a key role in distinguishing heroes and villains. Johnson and Johnston embraced modern lighting technology, including LED lights and digital tools, to maintain a contemporary edge while staying true to the film's 1940s aesthetic. The film's vibrant colors, such as the signature blue associated with the cosmic cube, were key to its visual language. In terms of equipment, the team used Panavision Genesis cameras for both the A and B units. Johnston relied heavily on a digital workflow, including a custom lookup table, LUT, desaturate and add a filming contrast to the image. They also used Schneider Optics Blackmagic filters and various lighting fixtures, such as Verilights, Martin Mac lights, and LEDs to achieve the desired effects. The lighting was meticulously planned, using a variety of fixtures including 4K Frenzels, space lights, and xenon lights to create the right atmosphere for the different sets. For certain action sequences, the crew also used film cameras like the RA435 and 235, especially for movements involving explosions or intense pyrotechnics, as well as the ARRI Alexa for underwater shots. Captain America: The First Avenger was primarily filmed in the UK, with Manchester and Liverpool standing in for 1940s New York City. Key locations included Stanley Dock in Liverpool, a large, underdeveloped red brick building with a distinctive Victorian look, which was transformed into a New York City submarine dock. The area was ideal for filming due to its space and easy accessibility. Meanwhile, Manchester's Dale Street, only 40 minutes away, was also used, requiring extensive preparation to resemble New York City, including the addition of New York City fire hydrants and manhole covers. The production team spent several weeks preparing these sites for a variety of scenes, including car crashes and controlled explosions. The film's production was based at both Pinewood and Shepperton Studios, and filming in Manchester and Liverpool was facilitated by local film offices. Motorbike scenes for Captain America: The First Avenger were filmed in the London countryside, with the stunt double for Chris Evans riding a Harley-Davidson Crossbones motorcycle, modified to resemble a Second World War-era bike. The scenes featured the iconic Captain America costume, complete with American flag colors, a large star on the chest, a helmet, and a cape. Filming also included a 1940s-style car and futuristic motorcycles, with some vehicles marked with the Red Skull symbol for a chase sequence. The production, which began in June 2010, involved multiple locations, including the University of Manchester, and later moved to Liverpool for further shooting. The title sequence for the film was created by Method Design, formerly Rocket Studio, blending the iconic Second World War propaganda posters with dynamic 3D animation. Initially, the team, led by creative director Steve Viola, planned to create original propaganda arts inspired by The Rocketeer, Walt Disney Pictures' 1991, but Johnston, who previously directed The Rocketeer, pushed for using authentic period artwork to align with the film's vision. The process involved transforming flat posters into three-dimensional environments, using Autodesk Maya for 3D modeling and Adobe After Effects for animation. The team carefully selected and animated 19 posters, ensuring seamless transitions and depth for the stereoscopic 3D format. The sequence incorporated elements like Uncle Sam, Rosie the Riveter, and military imagery, reflecting both the mood and visual style of the Second World War-era propaganda. Despite a tight timeline of less than 4 weeks, the team successfully delivered the sequence, drawing inspiration from the period's aesthetics and Johnston's past work. Alan Silvestri became the composer for the film after Johnston chose him to create a score that would stand out with its own memorable theme, rather than blending in with other Marvel scores. Despite being relatively unfamiliar with Captain America's comic book legacy, Silvestri embraced the opportunity to craft a rousing, patriotic, and action-packed soundtrack. His composition features a central, instantly recognizable theme that is both emotionally powerful and musically compelling, drawing on his distinctive style of layering brass, percussion, and strings. The score's progression mirrors the hero's journey, and with the main theme gradually becoming more assertive as Captain America fully embraces his role. In addition to the orchestral music, the score also features the tongue-in-cheek Star-Spangled Man, written by Alan Menken and David Zippel, which adds a humorous touch to the film's propaganda sequence. Silvestri's work on the film is widely praised for its fun, unpretentious energy, perfectly completing the film's spirited adventure. As of the 8th of February 2025, Captain America: The First Avenger has an 80% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, a 66 out of 100 score on Metacritic, a 6.9 score on IMDb, and a 3.3 rating on Letterboxd. The film's budget was about $140 million, and it grossed about $370 million following its initial release date of the 22nd of July 2011. And that wraps up our deep dive into the making of Captain America: The First Avenger. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to stay updated on all things movies in the making. Let us know in the comments what you think of Captain America: The First Avenger, or if you have any favorite moments from that film we did not touch upon, or what films you would like to hear covered by this channel. Also be sure to check out our community page, where we announce what films will be talked about by this channel each week. New posts arrive every Friday. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time on Movies in the Making, where we will be talking about The Breakfast Club, Universal Pictures' 1985, and more films to follow along the way. Tune in for more Movies in the Making as we uncover the stories behind cinema's most unforgettable films. This has been Jason Scotchmer, film enthusiast and passionate about the arts.